Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You get the full story, so don't worry.
What do you make of his testimony?
He has given his evidence in chief. That's his case. But if you come to court and state your case, it doesn't mean that you made your case. I just want to rest there. We are going to examine him. I don't know, you make your own judgment.
Do you find it credible, the evidence?
Whether it's credible or not credible. He has given his evidence, and I don't want to prejudge us before the court. That's his case. We also confront him with our case, and the court will make a decision out of it.
But are you surprised with the kind of things that he's been saying?
I will not say, because already something in the audios that we've heard, so it's not something new.
He made a point that the AG is urging him to get forcing him to be jailed for at least 1 month.
I don't want to comment because you see, it's a life matter. That's evidence in chief, and as counsel, I don't have to comment on specific. But as I said, when we come to court on Tuesday, all those things will be tackled.
But what's your initial reaction on the ruling?
Oh, the judge decided to make a ruling, and that's how the law works. Today, the judge said our objections are not something that she was going to take. We take it.
You think you have enough under your sleeves to undo what Richard Jakpas has said to court today?
Rest it there, and wait for our side of the matter, and you'll be marveled. You rested there.
The audio, you didn't want the judge to readmit it into evidence. That has happened. Are you disappointed?
Oh, the judge has given a ruling. That's how the law works. If you think you don't want something to be admitted, you raise an objection. This is the duty of the judge to make a pronouncement of such objections. The judge has done so. That's rule of law.
You didn't want it because you felt it wouldn't do well for your case. How bad or damaging is this, admission of the audio to your case?
Not at all, because this audio is something that you have heard, isn't it? Having to heard it, you've heard it. So that is new in it. But it's about procedure. So in terms of the content, we are not minded by that because it's something that is in the public domain. But as to whether you can tender a recorded or secretly recorded audio, is something that we wanted to test, because that's why we're talking about law, not about public sentiments, whether you are comfortable, you're not comfortable. It's about due process. And the judge says that that's due process. It can be tendered. We are going by it.
He also talked about the WhatsApp chat between himself and the Attorney General. Do you find that to be credible, or is something that has been made up?
Whether it's credible or not credible, as I said, it's a life matter. As a lawyer of at least 22 years standing, I will not conduct my case in the media by saying it's credible, it's not credible. But come to court on Tuesday and hear our side of the matter.
One question that will not run away is the absence of the Attorney General in court. Is it now clear that he's headed to...
He reserves the right to be in court. He reserves the right not to be in court. At the time that he wants to be in court, you see him. If he doesn't want to be in court, you also not see him. So it's just normal.
The last time we asked you, you told us that the department, the Attorney General's department, is studying the advice by the sitting judge. Has that been conclusive yet? Reason why he didn't show up in court?
Leave it there. The Attorney General does not prosecute all the cases in our office. If in this particular matter, sometimes he comes. Other times he doesn't come. Today he's not in. It doesn't mean that next time he will not be coming. So you leave it there. Tuesday, Wednesday, next month, I'm saying this matter that we started, we are going to prosecute it to its conclusion.
Would the approach of the Attorney General change following this testimony by Richard Jakpas, today's testimony?
What approach? What approach, if you can?
In handling the entire case.
Attorney General, he's vested with the power to prosecute, and if he needs to prosecute...
I'm talking about the department, not Godfred. I'm talking about Attorney General's department.
Like, we are people that prosecuting, do our work as officers of the ministry. So for us, we are paid by taxpayer. What approach is going to take? Because the attorneys are paid by the state, they must work because they are being paid. So if they have to come to court to prosecute, they'll come to court and prosecute. So the strategy wouldn't change? There's no strategy. Whether it's a strategy or there's no strategy, we are prosecuting a specific matter. We are looking at the law, looking at the evidence. We don't take our eyes off the ball. If you do that, by the time you realize, you are down. And I think when it comes to prosecution, prosecutors in the AG's office are seasoned prosecutors, and their eyes are always on the ball. And this is what we are doing.
One thing that was also clear is that there was no objection. Well, I don't know if that is a practice of all the questions, all the answers that were given. None of them were objected by the Attorney General?
That to be unusual, because the witness was undergoing cross-examination. So have that one in mind. He was not being led in evidence in chief. He was undergoing cross-examination. So the answer, you cannot stop to give an answer. He gives an answer. We also have the opportunity to also come and confront him with our side of the matter. All right.
So that's the Deputy Attorney General who has just finished speaking with the media here at the court complex. So Richard Jakpas today has yet again mounted the witness box and has given testimonies, a lot of testimonies, which I would like to run our viewers through here from the court complex. Again, let me start. Richard Jakpas, as usual, appears in court neatly dressed, well pressed. Today he was in white with gold on the right side of his breast downwards, and he appeared in court and interacted with members who came to solidarize with him, if you like. And there was an outstanding that needed to be cleared by the trial judge, which had to do with the audio recording the lawyers for Dr. Casey Latofosin had tried to tender into evidence through Richard Jakpas. The court had made a ruling on that. So the ruling of the court is that the audio recording, the 60 minutes audio recording between Richard Jakpas and the Attorney General, Godfred has been readmitted into evidence by the trial judge and the court. So that recording for the second time has been admitted into evidence, and it formed the basis and the central part of the cross-examination of Richard Jakpas today. It's been a very lengthy day, a marathon cross-examination, but the highlight is that the audio recording between Richard Jakpas and Attorney General Godfred has yet again been admitted into evidence. And so that was cleared, and then Richard Jakpas was made to mount the witness box again, which he did. And so these are some of the highlights of what Richard Jakpas said in the witness box. But in her ruling, the trial judge had given reasons why she readmitted the audio recording into evidence. She says, for the same reason and more, that the recording was admitted for the mistrial application, she readmitted the audio into evidence. The reason is that for the same reason she admitted the audio into evidence during her mistrial ruling is the same reason and even more why she has readmitted the audio into evidence. And she also went on to make the justification that in the interest of reciprocity, the pen drive has been admitted because if the prosecution were the ones presenting the electronic evidence, it would have been admitted. So if the prosecution, that is the Attorney General's department, were the ones tendering into evidence electronic evidence, the court would have accepted it or admitted it. And so for the interest of reciprocity, the court found it or deemed it fit to again readmit the audio recording into evidence. Now, so then came in Richard Jakpas, who mounted the witness box, and these are some of the highlights of what he said. He said that he met Godfred Yeboah-Dame for the first time on the 16th of February 2022, even before the plea bargain was initiated. He met Godfred Yeboah-Dame for the first time on the 16th of February 2022, even before plea bargain was initiated. And so he also said that he met Godfred Yeboah-Dame twice in 2022, all at night from 10:30 onwards. So he never met Godfred Yeboah-Dame before 10 p.m. It has always been somewhere around 10:30 to 11 p.m. And he requested for the first meeting. So the first meeting between Richard Jakpas and Godfred Yeboah-Dame, according to Richard Jakpas, he was the one who initiated that meeting between the two of them. And when he met Godfred Yeboah-Dame, he told him that he is merely an agent and will be acquitted and during the submission of no case. So this was the promise. According to Richard Jakpas, who was giving testimony today, he said that Godfred Yeboah-Dame had told him that he was merely an agent and that he will be discharged and acquitted at the submission of no case. So this was an assurance he said he was given by the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame. And when they met, according to Richard Jakpas, Godfred Adame requested for documents that Richard Jakpas, had given to Yoko during their own investigations into the matter. That was the second meeting between Richard Jakpas and Godfred Adame, according to Richard Jakpas, that when they met for the second time, the Attorney General was given documents that Richard Jakpas, had given to Yoko during Yoko's own investigations into the matter. Then he delved into the WhatsApp chat between himself and Godfred Adame, and that which was captured in Exhibit 10 for Dr. Kesilato forcing. He said the Attorney General made it clear to him that he will be acquitted at the no case stage of the ongoing trial. At the second meeting in July, he told me that everybody knows that his target is A1. I'm quoting what Richard Jakpas told the court, that at the second meeting in July, he told me, and he here is referencing the Attorney General, Godfred Adame, told me that everybody knows that his target is Dr. Kesilato forcing and not me, Richard Jakpas. And he said he believed the Attorney General, who told him he will be discharged at the no-case level, only to be disappointed because the Attorney General didn't come through for him when it mattered most. He also mentioned that during his meeting, Godfred Adame, he showed some letters from the Ministry of Health signed by the then minister. So this was a meeting between Richard Jakpas and the former health minister, Ajuma Menu, during which, according to Richard Jakpas, he showed him some letters from the Ministry of Health signed by the then Minister Alex Segbefia, and also from Big C, to explain to him that all disputes have been resolved and the only outstanding was for the Ministry of Health to implement the addendum to save the government from any debt, and that there was no financial loss by anyone except his government referencing Ajima Menu's government, which is the current administration, and that there was no financial loss by anyone except for his government. That's from 2017, that has refused to implement the addendum from the previous government. He said he told Ajima Menu that if there was any financial loss at the time, then it was that which was committed by this administration. Per the contract, according to Richard Jakpas, the letter of credit was supposed to have been established immediately upon the signing of the contract, but BOG reneged and breached that contract. This is also instructive that Richard Jakpas essentially is saying that the government of Ghana breached the contract that was signed between Big C and the government of Ghana. And so he's leveling that against the administration, that they breached that particular contract that was signed between Big C and the government of Ghana. Then came the state in which the ambulances were brought into Ghana. According to Richard Jakpas, the ambulances in the state they were brought into Ghana were not supposed to be used at the time they were brought in, and that they were supposed to be parked somewhere safely under warranty, waiting for the arrival of accessories that has been shipped into Ghana. According to Richard Jakpas, these accessories he made reference to are still parked at the port and has not been cleared by the government, which was captured in the contract that the government of Ghana, as part of the contract, had to clear these accessories from the port. It wasn't the responsibility of Big C or Jakpas to clear these accessories. It was clearly stated in the contract that the government of Ghana had to clear the accessories to be fitted into the ambulances to make them complete. Then from there, they would be used as ambulances for the Republic of Ghana. That aspect of the contract, according to Richard Jakpas, has not yet been fulfilled by the government of Ghana. And so these accessories are still sitting at the port, and Big C is still waiting and is on standby to install these accessories into the ambulances and then train the paramedics. Then the ambulances will then be handed over to the government of Ghana to be used as ambulances. And so Big C, according to Richard Jakpas, is on standby and waiting for the government of Ghana to clear the accessories, and then they will do their part by installing the accessories and then train the paramedics who will then put the ambulances in use after commissioning by the government of Ghana. Also, the Richard Jakpas then delved into the issue of some of the conversations he had with the Attorney General. But before that, let's talk about the issue of the seal, the security seal at the Ministry of Finance. Now, according to Richard Jakpas, it is dealings, years of dealings with the Ministry of Finance. It is only the finance minister that has the authority to use the security seal on letters of credit. Not even the deputy ministers, not even the directors at the ministry have the authority or the clearance to use the security seal on letters of credit. And so for him, Curt Tekpe, who was then the finance minister, is the one who expressly put the seal on the letters of credit with regards to this ambulance procurement, and not Dr. Casey Latour-Forson, because for the seal to be, implanted, if you like, on the letters of credit, it has to go through the substantive secretary of the finance minister, who will then go and get clearance or authorization from the Minister of Finance, substantive Minister of Finance, and then the machine that has the security seal will then be brought by the substantive secretary of the finance minister to be implanted on the letters of credit, if you like. And so there is no way under the sun, according to Richard Jakpas, that Dr. Casey Latour-Forson would be the one authorizing the implantation, if you like, of the security seal on the letters of credit. And so that is that aspect of the security seal. Then he went on to say that he met the Attorney General at the residence of his cousin, a Supreme Court judge, and that was where some of the engagements on how the Attorney General wanted him, Richard Jakpas, to testify to get Dr. Casey Latour-Forson to go to jail. And that is according to Richard Jakpas, that the Attorney General, Godfred had told him that the motive behind the prosecution is to get Dr. Casey Latour-Forson to be jailed at least for a month at Nsawam prisons, so that there could be that window for a by-election to be held in Dr. Casey Latour-Forson's constituency. So he needed for the case to be closed at a certain point to make way for the by-election to be held within the constituency. Otherwise, if it goes beyond that, there is no way 6 months before, or less than 6 months before election, there is no way by-election could be held in any parts of this country. So, according to Richard Jakpas, the Attorney General impressed upon him to make sure that he gets the case, he testified in a certain way to get Dr. Casey Latour-Forson to be jailed for at least a month to make way for a by-election to be held in his constituency. Then Richard Jakpas said he told or asked the Attorney General that how confident are you that you can win in the central region in that constituency, which is the seat belonging to the NDC. Then, according to Richard Jakpas, the Attorney General told him that the central region and the Fantis are cheap, and that they will pump money, and these are the words of Richard Jakpas, that they will pump money in the constituency and get the Fantis to vote for their candidates in that constituency. And it has been a very lengthy and a marathon cross-examination here, which was rounded up by the lawyers for Casey Latour-Forson. At the end, he said, and I'm talking about Richard Jakpas, he says the AG called him to spy on Nimana, who was part of this trial, one of the accused. He was the second accused person, but no longer part of the ongoing trial. He called him to spy on Animana to verify if indeed he was at the hospital. He said he did that work for the Attorney General, even though the Attorney General at that point had already disappointed him when he promised to get him off the hook during the no case submission. He still went ahead and worked for him. He showed the WhatsApp chats which had been turned into evidence that the Attorney General gave him the work at 8:48 in the morning, and he completed and sent him a response, and the AG replied at 8:49 and said thanks. He said the prosecution of Attorney General, according to Richard Jakpas, was not in the interest of justice by my interaction and the pressure from my extended family and other respected people I know, that it was for, quote, political convenience and vindictiveness. So that is according to Richard Jakpas, that from his interaction with the Attorney General and also the pressure being mounted on him by his extended family, he knows that the prosecution of Dr. Kesilato Forson is nothing but something that is born out of political convenience and vindictiveness. The prosecution of Dr. Kesilato Forson, according to Richard Jakpas, when he rounded up his presentation or his testimony in the witness box, he said the prosecution of Dr. Kesilato Forson is nothing but a political witch hunt. So essentially, that is what has transpired here at the court here. Richard Jakpas or Dr. Kesilato Forson's lawyers have concluded their cross-examination of the third accused, Richard Jakpas, and then the Attorney General took over and then started with just a question about when the trial or actually started here at the court. And so they will continue with their trial on Tuesday when the Attorney General
I'm in the PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.